actually seen him, and was just waiting for the right moment for Benny to walk right into his trap. But he was here alone. He was here under cover of darkness. He had to use that darkness and solitude to his advantage. He climbed over the fence and walked towards the farm. The cows stirred a little more the closer he got. He had to slow down to avoid getting ahead of himself. He only needed 3. Well, 2 in a sense, a male and a female. From that point on, they could work towards building something of their own, breeding. But they needed food, too. They needed something they could eat immediately, and as much as he would like to steal loads of cows right now, he knew he couldn't risk things too much. Just 1 would suffice. 3 were all he needed. And then they just had to wait, or at least hope. If the breeding failed, at least they had something of value to trade with. At least they had something to cook. More than they had right now. He walked closer towards the barn, got right in front of it, and when he reached it, he smiled. 3 of the cows were right up to the gate, looking right at him, curious. Benny reached out and stroked the first cow on the nose. It moved itself away initially, then inched towards him, licking his hand with its sandpaper-like tongue. Benny smiled. It reminded him of when he was younger. Walks in the countryside with his grandfather. All those days where his grandfather would try to get him used to the cows, to stop him being afraid of them. It all worked well until they were surrounded by the cows one day. But even then, even through all his fear, all the cows had done was lick his face with those rough tongues, and all he could do was sit and wait until they eventually got bored and walked away. He smiled even more at the memory of simpler times. Then he reached for the gate. "Come on," he said. "Let's go find you a new home." He went to unlatch the gate when he became intensely aware of a presence close by. He looked to the left. The hairs on his arms stood on end. There was a man standing there in the darkness. Benny couldn't see his face, just that he was holding a shotgun. The man didn't say anything. He just stood there. Benny knew who he was right away. He almost wanted the man to say something, to give Benny an opportunity to argue his case, to explain why he was doing what he was doing. Because this man had a lot of livestock, and Benny had 7 other people to look after. He could explain. He could... The man lifted his shotgun. Benny's entire body tensed. The man didn't even hesitate. He didn't ask any questions. He pulled that trigger. Benny felt a shredding pain tear through his stomach. His hands darted down to his waist immediately, instinctively. When he looked down at his hands, he realized they were covered in blood and what looked like uncooked meat. Fear and nausea built inside him. His knees shook. He tried to stay on his feet, but he tumbled to the ground below. Tears poured down his cheeks. Footsteps approached him. He looked up shakily, the taste of blood in his mouth, the inevitability of his fate sinking in, even if he was still in shock. The man with the shotgun was standing right over him. He was pointing that shotgun at Benny's head. Benny's fear grew. The tears flowed. "Please," he said. "I just wanted... for my friends... for my..." "You're on my land," the man said. "You're stealing from me." "I can explain..." "No," the man said. "You can't." He lifted the shotgun. Benny closed his eyes tight, and then he heard another blast. Then, nothing. Jack stood over the man on the ground, shotgun in hand. The animals were stirring. Footsteps echoed around the farmhouse. A clang radiated from the tractor nearby, which a shell had bounced off. He looked at the bloodied remains of the man's face and tried to forget that look of pure fear in his eyes. He lowered the shotgun, turned around to the farmhouse. He'd done the right thing. He'd defended his home, and he'd keep on defending his home, no matter what it took. Chapter 2.